Welcome back to PsychVids. Today we're asking, what is emotional intelligence? You've probably heard that term, EQ, thrown around a ton. But what does it actually mean? And, why should we even care?
All right, let's start with something I bet we've all seen. Just picture this. You're in a tense meeting, or maybe just a stressful family dinner. And there's that one person who just handles it all with, incredible grace. And then there's the other person who completely loses their cool over something tiny. We've all been there, right?
This leads to a really interesting question. Why is it that some of the most brilliant people we know, I'm talking genius-level smart, can sometimes make the most, foolish social mistakes? You know the type. The brilliant coder who can't help but correct their boss in front of everyone. Or the amazing scientist who just can't seem to make a relationship work. If they're so book-smart, what's going on?
Well, the answer isn't about traditional intelligence. It has nothing to do with their IQ. It's a completely different kind of smarts. This is the kind of intelligence that deals with our self-control, how we read other people, and honestly how we just get through the day without causing a total disaster.
So what do we call this other kind of smarts? This is emotional intelligence, or EQ for short. And let me tell you, it is basically the secret sauce for not just surviving adulthood, but actually thriving in, pretty much everything. Your job, your relationships, you name it.
So what is it really? At its core, emotional intelligence is all about being able to spot, understand, and then manage your own emotions and the emotions of others. Think of it this way. It's about how you handle yourself and how you handle your relationships. That's it.
And the psychologist Daniel Goleman broke this down into 5 core components that are just so practical. First up, self-awareness. This is literally knowing you're hangry before you bite someone's head off. Then there's self-regulation. You know, that little voice that stops you from hitting send on that fiery 2 a.m. email? Motivation is all about pushing yourself even when no one's offering you a cookie. Empathy is huge. It's about being a human being, not just a walking spreadsheet. And finally, social skills. Basically, reading the room without needing a blueprint.
This all leads to that age-old question, right? What's better to have, book smarts or people smarts? For the longest time, we put all our chips on IQ. But it turns out that's only a tiny piece of the puzzle.
Okay, so here's a fantastic way to think about the difference. Your IQ, or your intelligence quotient, that's like the floor. It sets your potential. But your EQ, your emotional quotient, that's the ceiling. It determines how high you can actually go. Your IQ is the raw horsepower of your brain's engine. But EQ, that's the driver. It's what helps you navigate, avoid crashing, and actually get where you want to go.
And this idea is captured perfectly in a famous quote from Daniel Goleman himself. IQ gets you hired, but EQ gets you promoted. Think about it. Your resume, your degree, your technical skills, that'll get your foot in the door. But it's your ability to work with people, to lead, to manage stress, that's what gets you that corner office.
So what's actually going on inside our heads? Well, it's pretty much a constant battle, a tug-of-war between 2 parts of your brain. You've got the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's super-sensitive fire alarm. The second it senses a threat, real or imagined, it goes off. But then you've got the prefrontal cortex. That's your logic center, your CEO. High EQ means your prefrontal cortex can jump in and calm the amygdala down, saying, whoa, hold on a second, let's not burn the building down just yet.
Okay, this all sounds great, but it brings up a huge question, maybe the most important one. Are you just stuck with the EQ you were born with? I mean, if you're someone who has a short fuse, is that just who you are forever?
There's a really common myth out there that says, yeah, you are. That you're either born with high EQ or you're not. That it's fixed, like your eye color or how tall you are.
But here's the amazing news. That's totally wrong. It's a fact that emotional intelligence is a skill, and like any skill, it's trainable. The science of neuroplasticity shows that our brains can literally change and build new pathways at any age. Unlike your IQ, which tends to level off, your EQ can keep growing. You can absolutely get better at this.
So if it's a skill we can learn, that means we need a toolkit, right? And I'm not talking about fluffy advice like, just try to be nicer. We need actual, concrete strategies that we can pull out and use when things get tough. Let's stock your emotional toolkit right now with 3 super powerful evidence-based techniques. First up, name it to tame it. This is so cool. Research shows that just putting a label on what you're feeling, literally saying to yourself, okay, I am feeling anxious right now, it actually reduces the intensity of that emotion. Next is the 6-second pause. When you feel that fire alarm go off in your brain, just pause. Count to 6. That's roughly how long it takes for those initial stress chemicals to wash through your system, giving your logical brain a fighting chance to come back online. And number 3, ask what, not why. See, asking why am I so upset can get you stuck in a loop, but asking what can I do about this? Now that moves you toward a solution.
And I think it's really important to clear something up. Having high EQ isn't about being soft. It's not about being a pushover or just being nice all the time. No way. It's about being effective. It's about being smart with your emotions so you can make better decisions and get better outcomes.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. What is one of your emotional triggers? We all have them. Maybe it's when someone cuts you off in traffic, or a certain phrase a family member uses. Just get one in your mind, okay? You got it? Now, think about the next time that happens. With these new tools in your back pocket, the pause, the labeling, the what question, how could you choose to react differently? Because that choice, right there in that moment, that's the very heart of emotional intelligence. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode.